On July 7th, former President Jimmy Carter and former First Lady Rosalind Carter marked their 75th wedding anniversary, the longest marriage in presidential history. And after being holed up at home for a year because of the pandemic, well, they're ready to throw a party. The Carters sat down for a rare interview with our Steve Olsen-Salmi to talk about how their love story began and why President Carter says marrying Rosalind has been the pinnacle of his life.
President Jimmy Carter and the former First Lady know very well that they are in the sunset of their lives. And it makes reaching their 75th anniversary this week all the more special. He turns 97 this year, and she's turning 94. We met them in their hometown of Plains, Georgia, about 3 hours south of Atlanta, where President Carter famously grew up on a peanut farm. Tell me about this anniversary.
Well, we've survived this long together. First of all, we give each other plenty of space to do our own thing. We try to share as much as we possibly can do, like bird watching, downhill skiing, fly fishing, things like that.
You've gone fly fishing recently?
Yes, I went last year.
I go fly fishing most of the time with him. We have a little pond in front of our house, and I go out and cast.
Mrs. Carter tells me she remembers to this day falling for her husband when he was really just a picture on the wall of her best friend's bedroom.
Ruth was my best friend. That was Jimmy's sister. Literally did fall in love with that photograph. I would go in that room every time I went out.
Uniform.
Here was that photo, and as President Carter was hearing his wife share the story, his face lit up, even though he's heard her tell it 100 times before.
Yeah, my face lit up then because I realized that when I first had a date with her, the next morning I told my mother that was the girl I wanted to marry. About 6 months later, I asked her to marry me, and she said no. So she held out until May of that year.
It was wartime. But I had promised my father on his deathbed that I would finish college. But he was persistent, and I gave in.
This is the official record with the county showing that James Earl Carter Jr. finally convinced Miss Eleanor Rosalind Smith to marry him on the 7th day of July in 1946. He was just 21 years old. She was just 18 and was literally the girl next door.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
As Jimmy said earlier, there's no way that we would be here tonight with Jimmy President of the United States without your help.
They were a true team, but it was a difficult period in American life with those never-ending lines to gas stations and American hostages in Iran. His presidency ended after just one term, and as they explained to us in this 1987 interview, they were heartbroken.
You know, Rosalind was much more emotional about a loss and much more distraught than I was.
Well, I always thought it affected him as much, and he just didn't show it. And you wonder why this happened, you know, why the hostages happened on Jimmy's watch.
When they got back to their peanut business in Georgia after the White House, they realized that a drought and bad management had put them into debt. For better or for worse, they say, for richer or for poor.
We finally realized that what we experienced, you know, at the presidential level, is what many other Americans experience every day.
But they would find new purpose and new success outside the White House, where together they started the Carter Center in Atlanta, a human rights organization that has literally eliminated diseases from third world countries.
After I was president. And so we had practically a new life. We love each other more than we did before.
Yeah. After getting their vaccines, they're now back at church on Sundays. Everyone, of course, is wishing you both incredible health, and we've talked about COVID. How are you both feeling?
Well, even I would think the isolation of COVID, we have hardly left our house here in Plains. And even that has made us more aware of each other. And before that, we had not been together all that much.
And so it was just Jimmy and me, and it was really wonderful.
They're now planning a big party to celebrate their 75th anniversary, and more than 300 people are invited. President Carter, you say often that marrying Mrs. Carter was the pinnacle of your life, more than any presidency.
Oh, yes. That was the most important. having Rosa say, okay, finally, and staying with me all this long has been the most wonderful thing in my life.
He's pretty wonderful in my life, too.
75 years. That is fantastic. A big thanks to our Steve Olsen-Sami for that. And you got much more of our special love and service, the Carter story, on ABC News Live and on Hulu.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.